Thanduxolo Jika, thank you so very much for joining us on this CheckPoint podcast.
My pleasure.
Can you believe that we started this 12 years ago, CheckPoint?
Yeah. We didn't have many tools. I had to bring my own laptop.
I remember that. But you had stories, incredible, important stories that are still relevant today. And that's why you're here. The water crisis. When you first started reporting on the water mafia, the water tanker mafia, it was confined to small areas, right? At the time you went to Madiba, and it was mainly like semi-rural areas that were using water tankers. Can you believe how much this business has grown across the country?
It's quite scary, Nkepile, because you would have thought from that time, 12 years ago, it would have been contained and there would be some lessons learned, because people lost their lives, people lost their loved ones, in protests for just basic human right, water.
Clean running water.
To most South Africans, Lerato Siema is just another tragic victim of violent protest. To his mother, he was everything.
He was the breadwinner, he was the light of the family. We expected so much out of him. You see that it's so sad when you lose someone who you depend on him financially, emotionally, and everything. It's so sad.
27-year-old Lerato was among the many angry residents in the northwest municipality of Madiba who took to the streets on January 15th over a lack of water. It's alleged that he and a friend were caught by police who beat them up and then dragged them into a nyala.
He was wearing this cap inside the nyala. I'm angry to the point that they stole his precious life from him.
Many here say Lerato's death is a symbol of the human cost of corruption. 3 other people died of gunshot wounds during clashes with police, plunging the province into chaos. They died demanding the most basic of human rights: clean drinking water. Politicians stand accused of creating and cashing in on the water crisis in Madiba.
And the water tankers were brought in there as a temporary measure. But they've now become permanent.
They're now permanent because of the collusion that happens in the municipality,
Which is what you exposed in your story. Just tell us a little bit about, we'll play the clip as well in this podcast, but tell us a little bit about how you came about the story in Madiba and what it was all about.
You would recall that initially in Madiba, there were protests, people burning, infrastructure, etc., demanding clean drinking water. And in that process, I came across a number of sources who said, actually, we do have water in Madiba. It's just that the municipality prefers using water tankers, and these are privately owned. And I started asking questions. What do you mean they are privately owned? The water tankers were, for those who are politically connected. There was collusion between the politically connected and the municipal officials. As a result, what we came across were a number of invoices, 16 million, 20 million there, 15 million there, that were being demanded, of course, by the water truck owners, right? Even when they had not delivered water,
they were still billing the municipality.
And that's what led me to digging deeper into understanding what was going on in Madiba. And we had engineers, independent engineers, who were offering services to the municipality, saying that municipality, we know your infrastructure is aging. We know where the problems are. We've been here before. We can assist the municipality.
Because the water that the money that the municipality was using to pay the water tankers should have actually been used to improve the infrastructure. In
Absolutely.
other words, deal with the problem permanently instead of permanently having a temporary solution.
Yeah. And what we then discover is that actually these water tanks, the trucks were a permanent solution. They were not a temporary solution. And there was infighting about those contracts
the
themselves.
Tenders,
The tenders themselves.
Yeah.
And also we got to know that whenever there was a new project to install new infrastructure, that infrastructure was broken. That infrastructure was destroyed. Whenever there was a new project to revive old infrastructure, that project was never completed. Of course, it was never completed simply because somebody's got to eat. Somebody like Thanduxolo Construction.
Who you confronted.
Whom I had to confront. The guy owned a couple of trucks, lived in a palatial mansion, in the middle of a rural area in Madiba. He had a number of trucks, but our sources were saying, these trucks, they don't even deliver this amount of water that they claim that is being delivered, and somebody is paying in the municipality their invoices. So we confronted Thanduxolo from Thanduxolo Construction, trying to understand how did he come about, having so many trucks and actually delivering so much water to the municipality, even when he was not delivering.
I remember he accused you of being jealous of his mansion and his money.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Instead of improving ailing infrastructure, millions were budgeted to pay contractors to deliver water. Businessmen like Elias Mukwena, who owns Thanduxolo Construction, made a killing. Mukwena received over R1 million a year to deliver water. When we confronted him about cashing in on the misery of his fellow residents, he accused us of being jealous of his wealth. Mr. Mukwena, I'm asking you about the contracts that you got from Madiba because of your political connections.
You understand me? I haven't got contract.
But you did get contracts.
No, before there was a contract.
And you made millions from the water crisis.
Yeah, I was working, yes. I was working.
Yeah, but is it because of your political connections?
Not a political, man. I'm not a political. I haven't got a membership card of the party.
Did you receive the contracts?
No.
Did you ever tender for these contracts, or they were given to you because of your political connections?
I was having a tender from 2007.
Did you tender, or it was given to you, Mr. Mukwena?
No, I tendered it. You must go to Madiba.
But there's no records of you tendering,
No,
Mr. Mukwena.
I was tendering that tender. You born yesterday, you are jealous for this house. You, man.
I was jealous of his house. I was jealous of his money.
And he felt nothing about what he was doing.
Nothing. Nothing wrong.
Yeah.
So what we then discover is that the municipality does this thing where it's confined process. There's no need for a tender. They were not issuing tenders. They would simply just appoint people according to, requests for quotations. But even that was not transparent itself because they were appointing people who are politically connected. A picture emerged of how deep this thing is, which brings us to today.
Exactly.
Right. How it essentially works, the modus operandi is quite simple. You have municipal officials, you have politically connected people who issue a number of invoices and their own trucks, etc. The municipal officials are the ones who give tip-offs to these politically connected people that there's water shortages when there is absolutely no water shortage. There is water. We're losing water in terms of leaks in South Africa. We're losing water.
Nearly 40%, apparently.
40%.
Yeah.
We're losing water because of theft. And guess who is stealing that water? The very same truck tenderpreneurs are the ones who are stealing the water and selling it back to us as taxpayers, selling it back to the municipality. And so that grew from Madibeng. Every time when I'm seeing what happened in Tshwane, what is happening in Gauteng, what is happening in Vembe, you realize that the MO has always been the same.
The business is growing and the infrastructure is still ailing and underdeveloped.
And underdeveloped.
Yeah.
And you would wonder, how is that possible when there's the municipal infrastructure grant, which year on year is returned to National Treasury?
They don't use it because
they don't want to account.
Exactly.
National Treasury, you have to account.
Exactly.
There's proper auditing with the National Treasury, but that is not happening.
They'd rather use their municipal ways of stealing money. So this brings us to the President's State of the Nation address. Okay? He said that he's directed the Minister of Water and Sanitation and the Minister of Cooperative Governance to attend to this water shortage problem. Now, we've known for years that these people have known for years what the problem has been, and they've communicated this for years to the municipalities.
That's quite funny because 2024, the President directed the Deputy President to oversee a task team to attend to the same problem. We are not told what did the Deputy President...
What were the outcomes of that intervention? Yeah.
We are not told what the outcomes were. Well, we know what the outcomes were. Nothing, because there's no water in Johannesburg.
Exactly.
There's no water in Neisner. There's no water in Tshwane. There's no water in Limpopo. And so, you feel that the President was just playing to the gallery with his State of the Nation address. This issue has been ongoing for years. We've got engineers from years before, from pre-1994, who were warning of our infrastructure, that our infrastructure is going to collapse. It's meant to collapse. It's led to collapsing simply because there's business for tenderpreneurs. And I don't believe the President... even though he says that he is now taking over, it's going to make any difference.
Yeah, the National Water Crisis Committee that he will chair, but he chairs cabinet.
He chairs cabinet.
Why isn't he making those people account? Exactly. The other thing that the President said is that they'll now lay charges against municipal managers. Remember what happened in Madibeng?
A report last year by former Cooperative Governance Minister Richard Baloyi said water shortages in Madibeng were engineered to enrich politically connected contractors. He recommended criminal charges against suspended municipal manager Monde Juta and other officials. But the recommendations were ignored by the ANC-dominated council.
Criminal charge, we didn't open the criminal charge because the report was tabled in council, and the instruction given by the council is that the disciplinary hearing should be effected. So we are acting upon the instruction of council.
Madiba says the municipality has uncovered more evidence of corruption.
Our internal audit presented a report that says there are fraud and corruption in our Department of Finance.
The Cooperative Governance Minister actually directed that charges be laid against the municipal manager in Madibeng, Monde Juta at the time. And what happened?
Nothing happened to Monde Juta. He was simply moved to other departments. I don't know where he is. No charges were laid against these individuals. And also, what does the Minister of Water and Sanitation, what does that minister do if they have to be directed once again that they see to the problem?
Exactly. The recommendation by that minister was ignored by council.
Absolutely.
An ANC majority council.
Absolutely.
So even if there is evidence against the municipal manager that points to fraud, that points to him needing to be criminally charged, the council can just
simply
veto.
ignore.
Yeah,
And
they can just
the
ignore.
council can simply say that we've reprimanded the municipal manager. And then what do? The problem is not with municipal managers, really. It is with the organization that actually is in the majority in the municipality. That's where our problem is, that there's no accountability because these are politically connected individuals. You've got councillors, you've got municipal officials, and these politically connected tenderpreneurs that are all eating from the same pot. How and why would they hold each other accountable?
There's no accountability there at the bottom anyway. That is supposed to be happening on a daily basis. So this water crisis, what do you think, the right water crisis committee, what do you think it's going to achieve? It's, the president put it like, it's like the electricity crisis committee, because the electricity crisis committee seems to have produced some results. So we must take it from the president that, cut and paste. We're going to get good results from this. But water is totally different. The needs that we have across the country of massive infrastructure investment that is not going to produce results overnight. This is totally different. The president is playing with words here.
Yeah. And
playing with the nation.
And playing with the nation. If you think about it, in Nkepile, 2015, President Jacob Zuma had introduced war on leaks.
Remember that? The budget was like 2.2 billion and it ballooned to 4 billion.
Absolutely.
What happened to that?
Zip. Nothing happened. So this is just another promise to the nation. And they are forgetting.
And it was during an election year.
It was an election year as well.
Of appointing 15,000. I think they were going to train 15,000 young people.
Absolutely.
Or something like that.
Absolutely.
Zip happened. All the money was chowed.
Yep.
But
we're back to square one now. Yeah. And the president is promising us, no, this is different. We're going to do things differently. From the same political party, I doubt that we are going to see any different results. What they are actually not realizing, this is a risk to the economy. It's a serious risk to the economy in the sense that you've got a place such as Johannesburg where investors are expecting a lot of water, but there's no water. You've got places such as Northwest where investors are investing in mining and they're expecting water, but there is no water. So it's a risk to our economy. It's a risk to people's lives. And actually, we are being played with here in many ways. And I guess the political will is not there, because then who is going to fund your party if the tenderpreneurs
don't get their cut? Yeah, exactly. And that's why this podcast is so important, because we've been around for 12 years. It feels like deja vu. It feels like history is constantly repeating itself. And we need to remind South Africans that majority of the stuff that we're being told today
happened before.
Was known.
Yeah.
The president knew, his ministers knew, his government knew. There's nothing new. And if those words produced nothing last year, why do you expect them to produce something this year?
Absolutely.
Or the next?
Absolutely. We're expecting nothing nothing different that is going to happen. Like I mentioned, there was a whole committee set up with the Deputy President, Paul Mashatile. But in the State of the Nation of address, the President doesn't tell us what that committee achieved. And, now he's pointing fingers at the Water Minister and the Cocta Minister saying, listen, you two, I want you to fix this problem. But what was the other committee doing?
Exactly. And then you have a situation in a government of national unity where everybody's congratulating the president for a brilliant speech.
Which is quite shocking, because you would assume...
when they were not in the government of national unity, this wouldn't have been good enough.
Exactly. So now that they are in government, what has changed?
Exactly. What we actually need is to take this speech, and next year, the president should tell us point by point what has been achieved.
Absolutely.
Because every year we're given new promises. that are
every
never
year.
fulfilled.
And that is because they're taking the voters for granted. And South Africans forget quite a lot.
Yeah.
They're not connecting the dots. They don't remember Madibeng. They have forgotten what has happened in Tshwane, with the water treatment plant there where Edwin Sodi was, who is politically connected. Edwin Sodi counts Paul Mashatile amongst his friends, right? South Africans have forgotten about those incidents where, a water treatment plant there was money spent, but there were no results of that. And instead, people in Pretoria would go for weeks without water, right? And I guess that's what they're playing at. The government is constantly playing with our psyche as the nation and actually taking the voters for granted. It's a year of elections. They have to be seen to be doing something. And I guess that speech was meant to do exactly that. Let's show them that we are doing something. We are deploying soldiers. We are having task teams. We've got a war room, right? We're pretending to be doing something. But what has happened to the municipal infrastructure grant? Where is it? Why do we need a war room? There's money from National Treasury, ring-fenced for exactly these problems that you have established a war room for. I think we're being played in Nkepile.
Thank you so very much for reminding voters, viewers, listeners of the real state of the nation.
Most welcome.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.